Adding integers. The target for this lesson is, I can add 2 or more integers to find the sum. Example 1. We'll do this problem together. Find the value of each expression using a number line. Problem A, 4 plus -2. Just a quick note. Parentheses are used to separate a negative integer from an operation when adding or subtracting. To begin, create or reference a number line with 0 at the center. Starting at 0, move to the right 4 spaces for +4. Then move 2 spaces to the left for -2. The value of 4 plus -2 is 2. Problem B, -5 plus -3. Starting at 0, move to the left 5 spaces for -5. Then move to the left 3 more spaces for -3. The value of -5 plus -3 is -8. Extra example 1. You'll try this problem by yourself. Find the value of each expression using a number line. A, -6 plus -2. B, 3 plus -2. Hit pause and attempt this example. Check your answer by resuming the video to see if you got the correct answer. The answer to problem A is -8. The answer to problem B is 1. Let's look at some vocabulary terms we will use in this lesson. Additive inverses are 2 numbers with a sum of 0. For example, +4 moves up the number line 4 spaces from 0. If you add -4 to +4, you will move 4 spaces back down the number line, ending back at 0. So +4 and -4 represent an additive inverse because their sum equals 0. Another term we will use in this lesson is zero pair. A zero pair is a set of 2 numbers that, when added together, equal 0. In the diagram at right, there are 4 pairs of red and blue integer chips, which each represent a positive or negative integer. Each zero pair cancels out, which is another example of why 4 plus -4 equals 0. Example 2. We'll do this problem together. Find the value of 6 plus -3 using integer chips. First, draw 6 positive integer chips. I will use blue to represent positives. Then draw 3 negative integer chips. I will use red to represent negatives. Match sets of zero pairs. I notice there are 3 zero pairs. Remove each of the 0 pairs since they equal 0. There are 3 positive integers remaining, so the value of 6 plus -3 is +3. Extra example 2. You'll try this problem by yourself. Find the value of -9 plus 5 using integer chips. This would be a good time to pause the video. Complete the problem by yourself, then check your answer by resuming the video. The answer to this problem is -4. You can also add integers using other strategies besides integer chips. If the integers being added have the same sign, you can add the absolute value of each number and then use the common sign for the sum. For example, a positive integer plus a positive integer has a positive sum. On the other hand, a negative integer plus a negative integer has a negative sum. Example 3. We'll do this problem together. Find the value of -5 plus -17 plus -29. This is a case where drawing a number line to model an integer addition problem would be difficult due to the size of the numbers. Instead, we'll use the adding integers rules we went over earlier to solve this problem. When adding integers with the same sign, you can add the absolute value of each number and then use the common sign for the sum. In this problem, all of the numbers we're adding are negative numbers, so we can find the absolute value of each value, find their sum, and then use the negative sign. The absolute value of negative 5 plus the absolute value of negative 17 plus the absolute value of negative 29 equals 51. Since all of the numbers are negative, our final answer is negative, so negative 5 plus negative 17 plus negative 29 equals negative 51. Extra example 3. You'll try this problem by yourself. Find the value of negative 8 plus negative 11 plus negative 13. This would be a good time to pause the video. Complete the problem by yourself, then check your answer by resuming the video. The answer to this problem is negative 32. When adding integers with different signs, you can also use a strategy in which you look at the signs of the integers. When adding integers with different signs, subtract the lesser absolute value from the greater absolute value. Then use the sign of the addend with the greater absolute value as the sign of the sum. We will try this strategy in the next example. Example 4. We'll do this problem together. Find the value of each expression. Problem A, 13 plus negative 24. To find the sum of integers with different signs, you must find the absolute value of each addend, then subtract the smaller absolute value from the larger. Finally, use the sign of the addend with the greater absolute value. In problem A, we will take the larger absolute value, which is the absolute value of negative 24, and subtract the smaller absolute value from it, which is the absolute value of 13. The absolute value of negative 24 is 24, and the absolute value of 13 is 13. 24 minus 13 is 11. The absolute value of negative 24 is larger than the absolute value of 13, so we will use the larger addend sign, which is negative. So, 13 plus negative 24 is negative 11. Problem B, negative 35 plus 41. The larger absolute value is 41. We will subtract the smaller absolute value from it, which is the absolute value of negative 35. The absolute value of 41 is 41, and the absolute value of negative 35 is 35. 41 minus 35 is 6. The absolute value of 41 is larger than the absolute value of negative 35, so we will use the larger addend sign, which is positive. So, negative 35 plus 41 is positive 6. Extra example 4. You'll try this problem by yourself. Find the value of each expression. A, 42 plus negative 17. B, negative 12 plus 19. Pause the video and try this problem on your own. When finished, unpause the video to see if you were able to successfully solve the problem. The answer to problem A is 25. The answer to problem B is 7. Example 5. We'll do this problem together. Janelle descended 16 feet and then rose 21 feet in elevation on a hike. Write an integer addition expression to represent this situation. Determine her overall change in elevation. Janelle descended 16 feet, so this change in elevation is negative 16 feet. She then rose 21 feet, so this change in elevation is 21 feet. The integer expression that represents this situation is negative 16 plus 21. The absolute value of 21 is greater than the absolute value of negative 16, so our final answer will be positive. 21 minus 16 is 5, so Janelle's overall change in elevation is 5 feet. Extra example 5. You'll try this problem by yourself. Thomas withdrew $55 from his account and later added $30. What was the overall change in his account balance? Hit pause and attempt this example. Check your answer by resuming the video to see if you got the correct answer. The answer to this problem is, the overall change in Thomas's account balance was negative $25. Consider this. 3 methods for adding integers were introduced in this lesson: integer chips, number lines, or integer rules. Which method do you prefer? Why? What do you think?